Hey, you big, beautiful Broadway world. It's me, your Broadway buddy, Ben Cameron. I'm thrilled to be here with you for a new season of Broadway World's Next on Stage, sponsored by AMDA. As I said, I'm your Broadway buddy, Ben Cameron, and I'm excited to be here this time as the host of our singing competition. The last couple of years, I have been on board for our dance edition of Next on Stage, but this time I'm back to be serenaded by some super talented youngsters out there. Tonight, we're kicking off our new season by revealing the top 15 contestants in our high school age group. Students from all over the country have been submitting videos of themselves singing a song from the musical theater canon, and you, my friends, voted. Our top 15 received the most votes in this first round of voting, which concluded on Monday night. You have voted them into our top 15, and now we have our very esteemed and accomplished panel of judges who will join us to provide valuable feedback for them to use in their next round of performances, which will be voted on by the public next week. Makes sense. The judges today are also going to review performances from the three contestants who were ever so close, but didn't quite make our top 15. We call them our awesome almosts, pushing one of them forward to compete again in the next round for your votes. They are mad with power, these judges. And your votes are important because this season, for the first time, our finalists, this is so cool, our finalists are going to win a trip to New York City to perform in a live finale this January at the famed 54 Below, Broadway's very own living room. That's very, very cool. Now, before we get into all of that, we need to meet these fabulous judges. So first up, we know and love him from the original Broadway casts of Kinky Boots and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the off-Broadway revival of Smokey Joe's Cafe, and Jesus Christ Superstar live in concert on NBC, which I'm obsessed with. You can check out some of his very soulful show tunes on his albums, Kyle's Broadway Soul Volume 1 and Broadway Soul Volume 2. He also happens to be a faculty member at AMDA, where he teaches musical theater performance with an emphasis on acting through song. Please welcome the one and only Kyle Taylor Parker.
Woo! Hey, how's it going?
It's good, baby. Also, I just want to say for anybody out there, if you're ever in New York City and you have the occasion to catch KTP live at the Midnight Theater or what have you for the juke joint, it's a hell of an evening. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you for that.
Now, talk to me about you teach at AMDA?
Yeah, I teach at AMDA. I teach musical theater 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all musical theater, that's me. Musical theater.
All of them. I'm glad that we counted through it, though. 1, 2, 3. That's it. All of it. And what is the single most important thing you're looking for in a performance? What do you need to grab your eye really quickly?
I'm looking for you. How do you find yourself in these songs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we're going to find them. So thank you, Kyle. Next up, she starred as the original Karen Smith in Mean Girls on Broadway, a performance that earned her a Drama Desk nomination. You've also seen her in Bring It On, the musical, Rock of Ages, Hair, and Legally Blonde. You can also snag her solo album, Back to My Roots, from Broadway Records. She's back for her 4th season as a Next on Stage judge. We love her so very much. It's Kate Rockwell.
Yay! Did I just yay myself?
You sure did. And listen, in this industry, if we don't yay ourselves, who
You're
will?
absolutely right. Who will? You gotta yay you, or no one will yay you.
Absolutely. So I join you in yaying you. What is 4th season back for this?
I know you just said that, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that. I mean, it's true, but it feels. It doesn't feel like it's been that many years, but it has.
Right. Well, because it kind of dates back to the pandemic.
I know, to the time where this was. I was actually getting ready for this today, and I was like, wow, remember when we used to like sit at our computers and like talk to each other through screens, and that was all we did.
And do this all day.
I know. It feels crazy.
What have you learned as a judge over 4 years? How has your eye changed?
You know what? It's so useful to watch people perform, like do the thing. Like it's like back to the day when we used to get to sit in an audition room and like be a reader or something. You learn so much watching people do the thing that you do. Mm. And not only have I been reminded how important some of the like simplicity is, especially on camera, like when we're doing these on camera tapes, but also that like you really can see when you're not really in it. Like when your eyes are somewhere else. Like no matter what your face is doing or your mouth is doing or how beautiful your voice sounds or any of that, like when your eyes aren't on, it like the whole thing is it's a whole different experience. So I think that was the big reminder every time I've done this. And this is my first time working with the high school applicants. Usually the last 3 years I've done college. So this will be really fun too, to see a new group who's working at a different level, to like see them, when you engage and when you don't engage, when you're really making the material yours, as KTP was just saying, like when it's really you coming through, as opposed to when you're just sort of just doing, the cast album. That makes a big difference.
Right. And you're right. Then nothing hides. You can't hide.
You can't hide it.
The jig is up. And rounding out our panel, she's an Olivier Award winner for her West End debut and her performance in Zorro, the musical. We know her, love her, are obsessed with her as Mrs. Wormwood in Matilda the musical and Mona Kent in Broadway's Dames at Sea. Most recently, you might have caught her off Broadway, Princess is a Bitch in Emoji Land, or Cindy Lou Who in the one-woman tour de force Who's Holiday, which I also saw and loved. Also back for her 4th season, the one and only Leslie Margarita.
Boo! Boo!
His! Get her!
His!
Yay, I'm so happy to be back.
Oh my God.
What is you got an elevator pitch moment with a young performer, and they say, "Oh my gosh, Auntie Leslie, what do I got to do better?" What's the first thing that comes out of your mouth? It's deep. It's deep.
It's deep. I mean, it's never better. It's what they've been saying. It's not better. It's you, because there's never, and we I'm sure we'll talk about this so many times. It is never that somebody is better than you. It's just that they were more right, or they were in the right place at the right time, or they're just having a lucky streak. So it's never what can you do better. It is always how can you be you more. And I always like to keep going back to that, because as someone who doesn't have a voice like KTP or Kate Rockwell, you got to work with what you got. So I'm very much into like finding what is cool about you and how to make that work.
I love that, and I absolutely agree. The more you know.
The more you know.
All right, before we jump into it, I want to mention that AMDA, College of the Performing Arts, is a proud sponsor of our 2023 Next on Stage competition. AMDA has campuses in New York City and Los Angeles. AMDA offers undergraduate, graduate, and conservatory programs in acting, musical theater, dance, and film and television arts. So you can visit amda.edu for more info, and let's learn a little more about AMDA right now, shall we? Hey, AMDA, what's up?
Today, more than 2,300 students each year become part of AMDA's thriving community of artists, honing their craft with one of the top performing arts faculties in the world. AMDA gives students the opportunity to study on both coasts, with campuses in New York City and Los Angeles, the two epicenters of world entertainment and culture.
Be sure that you are following along today with Broadway World Stage Mag, which you can check out by scanning the QR code here. Judges, are you ready to meet our top 15?
Yes!
Go.
Now, bear in mind, our top 15 are being presented to you in no particular order.
Okay.
This is just them. Jumping right into it. First up, for your consideration, we have Mackenzie Crawford. I just realized that they're learning that they're in the top 15 right now. That's so cool. Mackenzie Crawford, who is singing She Used to Be Mine from Waitress. Take it away, Mackenzie.
And you're not what I asked for. If I'm honest, I know I would give it all back for a chance to start over and rewrite an ending or two for that girl that I knew that's been gone, but used to be mine.
Mackenzie Crawford. All right, let's get into it, judges. I'm going to start where I see it here on my screen. KTP, what are your thoughts for Mackenzie?
Oh my goodness, so great. That voice. Geez Louise, if I had that in high school, you would not be able to stop me. Sing, sing, sing. You sound fabulous. I think one little tip that can just kick up your work, whenever there's a lyric like you or it or, you know, something that seems kind of vague, if you can make that specific. I mean, what are you singing about when you say you're not what I asked for? Is it the baby, which is the story? Is it your life? Is it the job that you have? If you can get specific about that one thing, it will unlock the rest of the song for you. So you get a faster start as opposed to warming into the moment.
Yes. I also want to give a shout out to that cut of the song she did. Really,
I was thinking the same thing.
that was a really great, concise cut for a song we've heard a lot. Miss Margarita, your thoughts?
Mackenzie, that voice, I love voices that have a texture and a little roughness. Love it, love it, love it. Because this is a song that is so gut-wrenching. You don't want it to sound clean. At least I don't. My thing for you, just a technical version, I think your face is a little blown out lighting-wise. I would love to see a little more, I don't know, just play around with it. As far as the song, again, your voice is incredible. I would like to see a little more pain, and that actually might come from stillness. Right now, it's a little presentational, like you would do in a cabaret, maybe. I would play around with maybe just absolutely doing nothing with your body, and it's all right here because she is kind of crippled at this point, emotionally crippled in the show. So maybe she doesn't have the resources she would if it was a happy song. So that was it for me. But I think that voice is great.
I love that. Miss Rockwell, thoughts?
Mackenzie, beautiful. You sound beautiful. I can't believe that you are in our high school group. I don't know what high school kids are anymore. They are not what they were when I was in high school.
Nope.
Also, I own those jeans and they don't look like that. They don't. You sound fantastic. I can continue to reiterate that. I have two thoughts. One is also technical. I think will also help with what Leslie was saying about it being just a little bit, it's a little too bright. I think if we come closer to the camera, we can crop you a little bit more so you don't feel like you have to give, unless you're giving me a tap dance, in which case I have no notes. Do whatever you want to do. But if you're going to do a song like this, like kind of we call them the Park and Barks, where you're really, it's all about the voice and the emotion and the honesty. We can get you a little closer. So feel like you can, I'm giving like a mid rib cage crop instead of doing full body. I think that will help with the lighting. So we get to see your face a little bit more clearly. And then we get to see a little bit of what is going on with all that, with, this song is such a stunning song. There's so much to talk about in this song. So I do think that would help you. And I agree with Leslie. I think don't feel the need. And some of this comes from that, I'm standing in front of a green screen. Everyone's watching me. What do I do with my arms that I feel every time I audition? I think feel free to do nothing. Feel free to drop that and allow your body to be still. Allow your body to be, quote unquote, real human behavior. What does that feel like? We know what this woman is going through. Where is your attention being drawn right now? If you were going to utilize your arms or utilize your energy in a physical way, where do you feel that? I mean, I don't want to give you a real obvious one, but there's a real obvious one that might help you connect to what that actually feels like in your body. Because especially as women, especially as young women, we are often taught to sort of separate from our bodies when we perform, but that's not how we perform, nor is it how humans actually engage, how we sort of behave when we're going through something as emotional as what this woman is going through. So those are my two thoughts. You sound stunning. Can't wait to see what you got next week.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Crawford, an awesome way to start us off. Liz, I agree with you. I don't know what high school singers are anymore because this is a different breed of creature than I grew up with. Next up in our big top 15, we have Alexia Cuevas, who will be singing It Won't Be Long Now from In the Heights.
The elevated train by my window doesn't faze me anymore. The rattling screams don't disrupt my dreams. It's a lullaby in its way. The elevated train drives everyone insane, but I don't mind.
can't tolerate the noise, and that's okay, cause I never let them stay. And one day, I'm hopping that elevated train and I'm riding away. Yeah, it won't be long now.
She's
Alexia Cuevas. You are moved, Miss Margarita. Speak on these feelings you're having.
First of all, Alexia, you need like your own like Disney Channel show or something because stunning.
Yes. I know the eyeballs, those peepers.
Yeah.
Those peepers. I love this because it was simple and joyous, which is what that song is. And I just loved it. You weren't doing runs that interrupted the story and you didn't close your eyes when you did them, which is my favorite thing. I loved it. I thought this is a great song for you. And I thought it looked fantastic as well. Not only were you fantastic, but that is part of the package nowadays when you have to send in a self-tape. That was perfect, great. I loved it. I think you completely sold that story.
Kate, what do you think? It looked like it hit her mid-rib there.
No, it was I was like, the crop is excellent. The lighting is excellent. I was like, the background, you look stunning. You truly do look like a Disney Channel star. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh my God, is this girl have a TV show?
Yeah.
Flawless. Technically, we're in flawless land. I'm so happy with all of this. Your clothes look great. Your hair looks great. Nailing it. Can you please come style me the next time I get a self-tape? I feel like I'll agree. I think it was super joyful and super sweet. I actually feel like I'm going to do a little bit of like a bringing back what KTP had actually said earlier, which is I think we can early on get super specific about like what you're hearing and where that train is. I feel like we warmed into that a little bit in a beautiful way. And I think, and this is such a nitpicky note because it's week 1 and I feel like I got to give you something. I think we could have popped right into feeling that location slightly more a little bit earlier. But it's beautiful. You sound beautiful. This is gonna be great for you.
Check it out on Disney Plus now. KTP.
Stunning, honey. The kids are singing. I'm like, wow, you sound great. A few ideas for you. I think use the introduction music. It's important to remember that in musical theater, the music is coming from you. It's the sound of your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, your desires. Don't let that fly by. What is that the sound of? So the lyric can be a release from that. But I mean, that's being picky.
That's why they pay him the faculty dollars.
Ah.
I love that.
Right there. All right. Well done, Alexia Cuevas. Next up in our top 15, we have Cecilia Langholz, who is singing Love Me Not by Joey Contreras.
But you can think what you want. There's only so much I can do, and you don't see all I am giving away. I'm asking for you to stay. Love me not, counting petals on the floor. Stop being so afraid to let our love become more.
All right. Hot dog.
Cute.
She's 11 and sounds like that.
I know her voice.
We're all out of a job again.
Yeah, here we go. That's what we brought us together to tell us is that we're out. Kate Rockwell, what were your thoughts there?
Oh my goodness. Cecilia, this is beautiful. I don't know this song. And so I'm riding a little blind on like the material and where this is, what the story at large is. Although I sort of understand, I guess, the general concept. Love me not. I thought you look beautiful. I would love a little more light on you since we like to start with the technical stuff. Let's see, like if we could get a little bit brighter on your face. And then my thought is, I think I'm going to, again, going back to the fact I don't really know the sort of details around the story. If this is from something, which it sort of sounded like maybe it was a Trunk song, but you know, you're having a very large conversation with a very very important person. My guess is that Love Me and Love Me Not are not actually equal to you, that you might have a preference of one or the other. And I feel like we delivered them a little bit equally, a little bit neutrally, and I would imagine that they're in fact not neutral to you emotionally. So can we get a little ugly? Can we get a little dirty and talk about what it feels like to expose yourself and say emotionally, here we are, it's high school, everything's fine. Can we talk about what it's like to expose yourself emotionally to somebody and say, like, I need to know, I need you to make a decision. And it's not pretty and it's not musical theater-y in that way. It's like a real honest question. And that requires like digging a little bit in there and finding out what it looks like when you actually feel like that. So I encourage you to embrace the sort of ugliness of asking really hard questions and feeling really hard feelings and digging down into what that might mean for you. You sound lovely.
Absolutely. That's always tricky, right? To let go of the wanting to be pretty.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with it right now.
Constantly.
KTP, what are your thoughts?
Up for this, so I'm losing the battle.
You sound great. You sound great. You sound great. You look great. I think I totally agree with Kate. Something that might help that journey a bit is to invest in the word all. This song is new to me too, I'll confess. But it seems like you're talking about all the things you've done for this person. That's the good stuff, the bad stuff, the in-between. I think if you can identify what that is for you, it'll come to life more.
Love that. Leslie.
Again, we're so out of jobs, all of us. You guys are incredible. Cecilia, I just want to squeeze you. You're so cute. It was like beautiful. You sound incredible. My only thing, and I don't know this song either. Sorry, Joey. I don't know the song. To me, what I took from that cut, which is also important because if people don't know the song, you need to make sure there is a story in it. So for me, what I took from the lyrics was that it was more of a not so sad, but love me not. You're the one that's not giving me anything. So I'm here going, you just need to tell me what it is. So I almost felt like it was a little too sad, like emotionally, and that's easy to do when it's a heavy song like that, but find the other places where it is, maybe you don't care. Maybe it is just like, if you don't make a decision and tell me how you feel, I'm out. I think it's just finding like Kate and KTP were saying, find your version of this song, especially when it's a trunk song that no one knows what the story is. So you have to decide what that story is. And that was not clear to me, but you sound phenomenal. And what a great song. Didn't know it.
Yeah.
And that's where the fun is, right? Like getting to create the story for yourself and make that your own. I love it. All right. Next up, we have in our big top 15, Ben Davis. Top 15, who will be singing Les Poissons from The Little Mermaid.
Zut alors, I have missed one. Sacré bleu. What is this? How on earth could I miss such a sweet little succulent crab? Quel dommage! What a loss! You belong in the sauce with some flour, I think just a dab. Then I'll stuff you with bread. It won't hurt, you'll be dead. You'll surely be lucky you are. Cause it's gonna be hot. In my big copper pot. Toodaloo, mon poisson. Au revoir.
That's Ben Davis. Now, I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I would bet that this struck a chord with the most subtle and nuanced performers I've ever seen, Leslie Margarita, who's
Big Ben and now Little Ben. I love that you went be out
There.
on this because you gotta take big swings on these songs. You're adorable. I can't wait to see more. As someone who often gets told, oh, not subtle. Here's the thing. These songs have to be so planned out and subtle so that if you are over the top, it's not like, oh, that's too much. I don't think you did that. I'm just saying when you do these songs, you really have to really ground it first in reality, and then it can become a character song. If you start too big, the audience is turned off. So something like this, I kind of am getting the feeling that you probably have done this production of something. So some of the things to me felt very planned, where I would love to see, even if they're not, which by the way, in a comedy thing, they should all be planned, but made to look like they're not. But this looked planned and seemed planned. A couple things, very few things. But when you go through a song like that, I would just try and make things look a little more off the cuff, but still remember to ground and not be chaotic. I would love to hear more of the singing a little more. It's tough in these songs that are so, character driven, but I thought you did a fantastic job. I'm such a fan of Swinging Big because they can always bring you back. It's, but you need to give them a reason to say, hey, let's bring it down a little bit. So make sure it's not too chaotic. That was it. I loved it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and I don't think any of us are in danger of forgetting the performance. You're going to go back to that in your mind, rent free. Kate?
Ben, I think you're a hero. I feel like leading in with like going comedy, which as we all know is the hardest of the genres. Don't let anybody tell you differently. They're lying or they're not good at comedy. It's I just love the bravery of being like, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna do the thing, and that brings me so much joy. And FYI, that will win you every step of the way. Being willing to be brave like that and put yourself out there and be absurd and ridiculous. And like Leslie said, like they can always dial you back. What they can't always do is get more out of you, right? So like, I'm a huge fan already. I love that. Also, it's like one of my favorite things in the world, this song, just like from the movie originally and then like the cartoon movie and then to the Broadway show. I'm a huge fan of an idiot French fish song. So I actually have a very similar feedback to Leslie, but I want to maybe come at it from a slightly different angle. Is that when you're doing comedy, you choreograph everything. Everything is choreographed. But just like in choreography, it has to be about the story first. It can't just be about the movement. So if you can think about it like that, because I think a lot of us are used to thinking like, well, when you dance in musical theater, you have to have a reason to dance. You have to have a reason to kick. You have to have a reason to spin around in a circle. All of those are things I don't know how to do. So I hear that that's what you do when you dance. But I do know that any of the movement that we have in comedy, so anything large gesture that you're going to do has to come from something, right? It can't just be. So even though I'm sure when you put them in, they were motivated by character, now I feel like they're starting to look like choreography. So if we can focus that stuff to be more about like, why is he doing this? Then it's going to win every time. Because I mean, the literal queen of this kind of comedy is sitting in this, well, okay, you're over there. So you're somewhere on the screen. Who knows where you are? Exactly. She's there.
No.
And I have watched this woman develop some of the most ridiculous things, and they're always character based. It's always, why are you doing this, right? That is the number one question. And then it can be as big as you want it to be. It can be as absurd as you want it to be because it's based in truth. So if you think about it the same way that we think about dance, that's literally what it is with comedy. And that will win you. That will win you every time, 100% of the time.
Absolutely. Kyle Taylor Parker.
Fabulous, fabulous. Your commitment, oh my goodness. That is gold. Don't lose the commitment. It is incredible. I loved it. I agree with everything that's being said here. I think another trick, this is a hard swing to do in a self-tape because you don't have a scene partner. So I think that something that will bring you to life and connect you to the humanity of the circumstance is to invest in your scene partner on the other side of the camera. You have a few tricks, a few gifts in there in the lyric that are question marks. You say, what is this? Really ask the question. That will bring you back to life. Quel dommage. That's a question too. You can really climb into that. Honey, you're coming for my jobs. This is very, very good work. If you invest in the person you're talking to, you're going to be fire.
Yeah.
And a hell of a name too, Ben. Well done. All right. Thank you, Ben. Next up in our big top 15, we have Giovanni Monteros. I'm going to butcher this. Giovanni Monterastelli.
Hey!
Long as You Love Me from And Julia, which I'm repping today.
Although loneliness has always been a friend of mine, I'm leaving my life in your hands. People say I'm crazy and that I am blind, risking it all in a glance. How you got me blind is still a mystery. I can't get you out of my head. Don't care what is written in our history, as long as you're here with me. I don't care who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did, as long as you love me. Who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did, as long as you love me.
Oh my
Right,
goodness.
Giovanni. Let's start with KTP. What words do you have for this sweet little Irish boy?
I mean, butter. The voice is butter. Me. That was nice, honey. Great. Love that. I think one thing that, if I could just give you one little thing, trust yourself, still yourself, right? The camera's your friend. I think that the movement right now is distracting from the medium of self-tape. If you were in a concert space and we were all in the same room, that might be different because lighting can help. But just ground yourself and send the song to an audience of one.
Kate.
You're absolutely precious. Oh my goodness. A little part of me wants to die that this song is now from a musical as opposed to being a boy band song. As like you're like, as long as you love me, from any musical ever. You're like, oh no, we've officially crossed over where everything is a musical now. I have two thoughts. You have a beautiful voice. Oh my goodness, you sound so stunning. My first is, next week, let's put a different shirt on the background so that they're not the same. It's like, I don't know if they looked the same in real life, but on the video, they end up looking the same. So if they're in the same color family, just safety's sake, don't do that because it makes it just a little bit harder to see, especially with the camera. It does like tricky things in the light. So you'll just always be safer if what you're wearing is different than the background. And for those of you ladies that are watching, if your hair color is the same as the background, that's also not great. So like make sure that you as an image are different from what's behind you just so that you pop. And then my second thought is not dissimilar from what KTP said. See if you can relax those hands down because 99% of the time, if your hands are moving on their own, they're probably not supporting your story. It's probably nervous energy, nervous performer energy escaping. A lot of this, like this sort of like side to side is the same thing. It's like, it shows me that you are nervous, which of course you're nervous. What we're asking you to do is very nerve wracking. What we do for a living is nerve wracking. That's totally okay to feel those feelings. It's your job as a performer to learn what your sort of like shows are with those nerves and learn how to still them. And so the side to side swaying, especially, I mean, you can see it while I'm doing it. It like looks crazy. I'm not even moving that much. It just highlights on camera that we're having such a tight frame. And also those arms, they just sort of move on their own, right? They're not really like happening. We as humans don't generally like gesture as we're talking, and that's what singing is, right? Singing is just talking but really heightened emotion. So make sure that if your arms are operating, that they are operating in relation to what you are saying and in relation to the person that you're talking to, and not sort of just on their own because you have energy and you don't know what else to do with that. That's my thought for now.
I like it. Miss Margarita.
Again, that voice. Like KTP said, it's butter. Gorge. I echo everything that they both said, and those were the main points that I had. The clothes is a big one. I've made that mistake once and got feedback that said it's giving grimace because I had like a purple background and a purple outfit. So don't do that.
It's giving
Grimace, the McDonald's purple kind, yeah. Real feedback. And then the other thing was again, that both of my friends just said, pick one point, pick one person, sing it to them because it's so beautiful and like sounds gorgeous. And it was just distracting to kind of see you look other places, but otherwise, gorge voice.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Giovanni. Let's see who is next in our top 15. It's none other than Jake Esparza, who will be singing Stars from Les Mis for us.
You know your place in the sky. You hold your course and your aim, and each in your season returns and returns, and is always the same. And if you fall as Lucifer fell, you fall in flames. Lord, let me find him, that I may see him safe behind bars. I will never rest till then. This I swear by the
Jake Esparza, I want to talk directly to Jake very quickly. That entire presentation was my entire youth. Standing, singing Stars from Les Mis, playing it on the piano,
wearing
my Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
The theater kid in me sees the theater kid in you.
That's
Jake.
the glow-in-the-dark sweatshirt. That's a vintage.
That's not. He's
I
not.
wanted to know where that, Jake, where did you get that?
I have it in my childhood.
You do. I took my 8th grade yearbook photos in my Phantom of the Opera t-shirt because it was obviously the greatest, coolest piece of clothing I owned.
Clearly,
I would give anything to know where it was. I also had the Les Mis original white sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that one? Okay.
Oh, I had it. Yeah.
This is not about me. This is about Jake. Leslie?
Jake, again, I personally, although I love the Phantom, I wouldn't wear it for an audition when you're singing a different composer's show.
They are related. It's the same. They're cousins, basically.
They're cousins, but I would, just in case the writers of Les Mis watched your tape, they'd be like, why is he wearing Andrew Lloyd Webber's merch singing my stuff? So because people are touchy in this business and you got to think about everything. So that is a little dumb thing, but you never know. They could be having a bad day and don't want to see that sweatshirt. So I wouldn't wear any other show merch. Great voice. Technical, again, you were shooting from below. I would love to see it up at eye level, but then I don't want you to look directly into the camera. I personally like just a little above so that I feel that you're performing not to me, but to everyone, especially a song like this where it's so big and broad. But I thought you sounded great. I just want to see more in your face of what the song is to you. And even in the show, it's difficult to be like, why is he, it's an odd kind of lyric for this moment. But so again, decide what it is for you. And then just bring that up a little bit so we can see your eyes more.
Windows to the Soul, KTP.
So great. Totally agree with Leslie. I also think something that's going to help you figure out where you're looking. This is a tricky song because who are you speaking to? You're with yourself. And so my advice for a song like this, once you really get to know the song, allow yourself to have an experience of the song as opposed to perform the song. So all the thoughts that come, let them come to you and live with them as you get to the next lyric of the song. It'll be different each time, but we'll get to see you and what you mean and the circumstance.
Ooh, that's such good feedback.
I know, I'm learning. I'm
gonna write that down.
Can you imagine being in high school and getting this feedback from you?
But also,
Hey.
they're amazing.
Yeah.
I know. Also, they deserve the feedback. I was not prepared for this feedback when I was in high school. Jake, this is beautiful. When you decide to give up that sweatshirt because you can't wear it to auditions, please send it to me. I want it desperately. I'm really, really jealous of it.
I'll fight you for it.
Agreed with the technical stuff. Let's lift the camera and then let's avert your eyes. Let's shift your eyes just somewhere else. It's like a weird thing on camera where when you stare a camera down, I don't even know where my camera is on this iPad. Is it here? When you stare a camera down, it starts to get really intense for the viewer. Again, that's a weird technical self-tape specific thing, right? You'd never have to worry about that if you were doing this live in a room with an audience. So although if you're ever in front of a panel of people sitting behind a table, you don't want to stare them down either for that exact same reason, right? We want to perform for everyone, like Leslie said. I say bravo to a Broadway baritone. I'm thrilled to see somebody embracing their baritone sound and not trying to like shoot for the B flats. I don't know if you have B flats or not, and I don't care. I love hearing you present that like beautiful richness in your voice. And so I say bravo to that. I love a baritone sound. And I do think that this song is just a really hard audition song for a lot of reasons. One, everybody and their brother knows it. A lot of those people don't like it because it's long and it's comes at a point in the show where you're like, go away. There is plot happening and you are not forwarding it right now. I love Les Mis with all my heart and soul. It's one of the reasons that I'm here. And I still just like need to skip that track when I listen to the album. You know what I mean? So like, it's a really, really difficult song to tell the story to because I think we got a little lost in the storytelling, in the writing. I'm sorry, I think you're all perfect. But I just think it's a really hard audition song to sell. And so I think there are better things out there that can allow you to communicate your acting and also still show off that beautiful voice. Find something else that is actually story driven as opposed to sort of an old guy pontificating about religion and like talking to the stars. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And it's a little bit polarizing in terms of how people are going to receive it. A lot of these big famous old songs are a little challenging in the audition room. While we love to see them done on stage, they're hard in this kind of unique environment that we've created for auditions. So I encourage you to branch out a little bit. I would say leave the Phantom 2, probably not going to help you anymore in that same department. It's lofty, it's poetic, it's not made particularly tangible in terms of storytelling. So let's save that stuff for the concert. When they hire you to do those shows, I can't wait to hear it. But for this, the purposes of this or auditions in general, I say let's find you something better that's a little bit more specific story-wise.
Excellent. That's wonderful advice. All right, we move forward now. Our next top 15 singer, we have Haley Cristiano, who is singing Lost in the Brass from Band Geeks.
Someday, high school's got to end, and I'll finally have a place where this woodwind doesn't blend. Whoa, there's a whole world to be pursuing. If I could just get out and leave it all here in the past, you'll remember me thinking, gosh, how is she doing? But I'll be long gone. Whoa, I'll be solo obligato, cutting loud and clear, right through the tuba blast, soaring high above that clumsy bass vibrato. I won't be lost in the brass. And finally they'll see there's so much more to me at last. I won't be lost in the brass, lost in the brass.
That's what we call a big finish. All of the big notes from Haley. Kate Rockwell, how did that hit you?
I was trying to figure, I was like, where is this song from? Because this is adorable. And Band Geeks is like, I like feel like I never hear anything from it. I know you said it as we were introducing it and I just sort of missed it. So I just was Googling it because I wanted to know. It's adorable. Haley, you sound beautiful. You have a stunning voice. You look great. I would love, like, again, this is another one. I just want to get a little more light on you technically. I know that that's like high maintenance because it means like having like the bougie ring lights that we all had to buy, but they are on Amazon if that's helpful. But just something, even if we could put like a window in front of you or something, just to brighten you up a little bit, try to find a way to get just a little bit more light so we can see a little bit more of what's going on in your face. Cause in a self-tape, that's like a kind of what we have to see. This is sweet. I wish that we could, you're like full of joy, which is lovely. I wish that we could fine tune that slightly and find a little bit of up and down. So I felt like we were sort of like at a 9 with joy from where we started. And then we finished the song at a 10. And so we only got to like incrementally go up a little bit. I know that in real life, you'd have a whole song to build an entire story and be able to start at a 2 and end at a 10. When you create an audition cut, we want to be able to have some version of that journey, even in the cut. So even if this is the last 32 bars of the song, we still want to find a place to sort of be able to climb, because you don't want to gyp your audition audience out of that experience and that ride the way that they would get if you got the whole song. We want to see your arc. We want to see your character develop or learn or I don't know, step up somewhere. So let's see if we can find that. And sometimes what that means is that dialing back the vocal even in the beginning, even though, yes, I know this is the last 32 bars of the song, what if we approached it vocally like it wasn't? What if we approached it vocally from like the something in the middle to the end, which allows a little bit of growth and it allows a little bit of movement, even if the idea of the song isn't changing and you're still coming at it from the same place. We, the artist, get to provide a little bit of, I don't know, dialing up a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense? Anybody on this panel? I feel like I'm just speaking. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay, good. It's English. So anyway, that's my feedback, but I think you look lovely and I'm excited to see what you got next week.
Leslie.
I am agreeing with everything that Kate said. I would have said it exactly right. So
It would have made sense then if you said it.
So the only thing I'm going to add is what's really hard about auditions like this. If you're not auditioning for a specific role, you have to find a song that matches what you are. This song is about a nerdy girl that's in the brass section. You are gorgeous and look beautiful. And it's a thing. If you were auditioning for this, I wouldn't even play your tape. I'd be like, she's too cute. So if this was the role you were auditioning for, you would have to look that way. Since this is not what it is, you then have to pick a song, I think, that is a little more, I wouldn't buy it, being like, that girl's gorgeous. Of course everyone's going to notice her. She's not stuck in the brass. That was my only thing. And I kept thinking it during your song, which is what we don't want to do, but you sound amazing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I totally agree with Kate, everything. Just find, it was so smiley and adorable. And I just want a little more of like, wait till they see me, wait until they get a load of me. Like, that's what I want a little bit more.
What do you think, Kyle?
You sound great. You look great. I agree with a lot that's being said here. And something that you can use in the weeks moving forward, I think, remember to invest in who you're speaking to. I wasn't sure if you had decided that you were speaking to an actual person and it was a brag of someday they're all going to love me, or if you're speaking to yourself. Kind of felt in between. Remember, if it's not clear, if it's not from a show or anything, you have to remember the actors' ABCs. Always be choosing. You decide, but don't leave it to chance. You know what I mean? That's my big thing.
Love that.
ABC.
ATP, ABC.
I feel like I'm getting it. I'm like going to class.
I know.
ABCs with ATP. You know what? I really love that song, and I hear that song in cabaret spaces all the time, actually. And I think that this is not my job here, but I think in presenting the song in an audition setting, I think to click the tempo a little faster would really help with this song. I think that's just,
I don't know it well enough.
For free. All right, next up we have Bethany Livers, who is singing Crossing a Bridge from Anastasia.
Look at the sky, look at the water, somebody's bridge, somebody's daughter. Who could have known I'd be alone crossing a bridge? Boats heading in, somebody calling, sun going down, shadows are falling, shimmering view, dangerous too, crossing a bridge, halfway between where I've been and where I'm going, in between wondering why and finally knowing. Thousands of lights shining below me. Somebody wait, somebody know me. Maybe we're sharing this beautiful night. Me on the left bank, you on the right.
Bethany Livers, another Disney Channel moment. I feel I was
14?
Huh?
14? She's
Yeah,
14.
that's insane. I feel like I'm watching the Hunger Games film, the new one. Kyle, what are your thoughts for Bethany?
Oh, so lovely. So lovely. I have one tiny little thought for you. Great use of the music in the beginning and the end of your song. You did this thing that I thought was adorable, but I don't think you need it. You had an inside thought outside, like you said, whoa, before you started, which is a great instinct to say it on the inside. We'll get it. We'll get it. If you believe it, we'll see it.
Leslie.
Love, gorgeous, simple, beautiful. My only thing was, again, it's the weird, don't look directly to the camera. The rest of it was beautiful. I could tell when things were high, or I could see you editing yourself because you had this amazing connection to the song. And then if there was a note, I could see you be like, oh, that wasn't, I don't know. I could just see it in your face, which is an incredible thing to have. You just need, and you're only 14, you just need to learn how to keep your, almost like the inside voice, outside voice, inside thoughts away from us, because we can see them, especially this close, but gorgeous, gorgeous. Can't wait.
Kate.
Beautiful. So this is beautiful. It's a beautiful performance. I thought it was very well done. I think my only feedback is that, and this is kind of show specific. So, take with it what you can. I feel like this role is really complicated, and it's very easy to sort of sugarcoat Anastasia and like make her Disney princessy because she was whatever DreamWorks. I don't remember who she was, princess. But in the show, it's not actually that simple. She's a little bit more of a deep character. She has a lot of trauma. And this song is actually not just like oh my God, it's beautiful, we're on an adventure. This is not Journey to the Past. This is actually a song about like the decision to continue forward in a very risky journey, to use the word journey, even though this isn't the song called Journey. This is a like, oh God, I'm doing this moment, right? So like, rather than allowing it to be as simple as like, I'm so happy to be here, everything is beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful, but also it's very scary and complicated, and there's so much going on. So always remember that these women who we're, portraying, even if it's a Disney, I know it's not Disney, sorry Disney, no one come for me, a princess, a generic princess, they're real people with real experiences, right? And it's very easy to sort of go back to that cartoon version that you weren't alive yet when this movie came out, but I'm sure you've seen it, that we were all raised with, where everything is beautiful and everything is very surface. She's got a lot going on in here. Women are very complicated. She is a real woman. We are portraying a real story, right? So allow that depth to sort of exist. Allow it to be more complicated than just, it's beautiful here and I'm happy to be here and I can't wait to cross this bridge. Allow some of that, like, what I just left is really hard, and what is forward, I do not know. I don't know what's over there, and that's scary, and I don't know how I'm going to get there, and I don't know what happens when I get there. That's a lot. So keep all that alive. Let it be more complicated than that. I'm always encouraging my young women that I teach to allow it to be complicated. It is okay to be complicated. People are complicated. Women are complicated. And that is cool. And I'm done with my soapbox for today. Thank you for listening.
I don't think we write musicals about non-complicated characters, right?
No, because it's really boring to listen to somebody boring, simple, talk for 2.5 hours about their crossing bridges. It's like, I'm sure she has a reason for singing this, right? So let's talk about what that is.
Yeah, I love it. Well, next up in the Big Top 15, we have Braxton Offer, who is singing Go the Distance from Hercules.
I have often dreamed of a far-off place where a great warm welcome will be waiting for me, where the crowds will cheer when they see my face, and a voice keeps saying, this is where I'm meant to be. I will find my way, I will go the distance, I'll be there someday. If I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while. I would go most anywhere to feel like I belong.
Braxton going the distance. I'm buying what Braxton is selling. Are you, Kate?
I'm in love with you. I'm absolutely in love with you. You picked one of my favorite songs of all time. So you really did sort of play. I think you were singing directly to me, or for me, I should say. Braxton, that was beautiful. I think you have so much wonderful stuff going on in there. You were so engaged. You were so, from the minute one, you were so dialed in. You had so much specificity in your eyes, which was lovely. This is an easy song to like just get caught up in the big, beautiful singing. And you did not do that, although you did still give me beautiful singing, which is really all I wanted. Not really, but I thank you for the gift. You sound stunning. I am so excited to hear you do more stuff. You created a story here where there was no story, because this cut was just that sort of verse chorus. It's just the chorus, right? The chorus repeated. And I still got story out of it, which is awesome. And I'm very much looking forward to you having an actual story song to present, where there is written arc to go along with the beautiful arc that you provided for us as the actor. So I adore you. I'm very excited to see you do more stuff.
Leslie.
Braxton, I would hire you right now.
Yep.
You're so good, and it was so engaging. I literally, and I got like goosebumps when you went to the modulation, because it was in your face.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with the vocal modulation. It was like this joy, this happiness that couldn't stay in, which is why you had to sing even more and higher. I loved it. I cannot wait to see what you do. Just, again, out of a job, all of us.
Really smart vocal modulation, though, to make that cut happen. That was really way to build it up. Kyle, what do you think about that?
Stunning, 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 stunning. The tone, the storytelling, the tone. Great use of your instrument. I think you're ready for the next level, which is to allow yourself to have an experience of your performance, right? So you can get lost in this. There's a reason for the high note on there, other than it's juicy to sing. It's like, what does there look like and feel like? When you say there's a voice is telling you this is where you're meant to be. Where is that voice? Is it your voice? Is it another voice? Getting specific about those things, that's the big time now. And you're ready for it. So go.
I love it. Next level. Next up in the top 15, we have Jada Lee Miller, who is singing Safer from First Date.
I know that I have issues, I face them, I swear. Think I overcome them, in turn they're still there. Wish that I was different, like to let go. But when I try to change, there's my past saying no. Maybe it's all cause of dad, his new kids, his new wife. Or why not just blame mom, who's been nuts my whole life. When you felt so alone since the moment of birth, and you've struggled to find your own true sense of worth. When it seems there is no one across this whole earth to depend upon, you carry on, just like you always do. Cause it's safer to lie on you. Oh, it's safer to lie on you.
All right. Let's start with Kyle here. Jada Lee Miller, what do you think?
Lovely. You had me in the first second of the tape, and that is the trick to self-tapes. You want the first 10 seconds to be juicy and engaging. Lovely. I just have one little thought for you. Great commitment, great storytelling. I have one tiny thought for you. Because the camera and self-taping is so limiting, I get that we want to have our thoughts down because that feels safer, right? Mm-hmm. But we lose your story when you do that. So why don't you think up? Make it a rule for yourself that when you have a private thought on self-tape, just think up, and we'll get to see that. We won't lose you. That's it.
I love that. Leslie.
Gorgeous. Gorge. My thing was diction, and especially on a tape, and we don't know what the room sounds like, and it's going to be different every time if you're renting studios. Just really remember diction. because if somebody is watching your tape trying to figure out what you're trying to say, they're not listening to your story and it's not coming across. So I would just some more diction, bite those words. But I thought it was fantastic. Again, like KTP said, you had me right away.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Ms. Rockwell.
Yeah, I thought it was stunning. That like you're really engaged with the song, which is wonderful. The only note that I have, and this is such like a weird, I don't know why I'm gonna give a vocal note. This is a tricky song because the end of the phrase it's all very like in one place and then it jumps up at the end of the phrase. You could use a little more breath. Actually. So at the beginning of those phrases, even though you're not thinking about high notes that are coming, get those bigger breaths at the beginning of those phrases, which means you're going to have a little bit more support to get up to safer and be able to finish that line. Because it kind of jumps out at you. Like you're not really thinking about it when you're starting, especially when you're engaged in the like the acting work that you're doing. You're not thinking like, oh, I have a high note coming, which is good. I don't want you to think that. I'm very happy you are not thinking that. But taking a larger breath in between the phrases is going to give you a little bit more oomph to get to the end of the phrase where the note is higher than everything else, which is just a specific challenge that you've got here in the song. But it'll also benefit you in general in the future. Larger breaths in between means you don't have to think about what notes are coming. You have the foundation to sing the song all the way through, no matter what note is coming for you.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Exactly.
Right? All right, next up in our top 15, we have Roxy Sparling, who's singing Disneyland from Smile. Do my ears deceive me, or is Roxy giving us decrescendo?
Decrescendo at the end with no break.
What do you think about it, Kate? Decrescendo.
Seamless transition from the bell to the mix. That is a very advanced vocal technique, my darling. Lovely work. You sound stunning. My goodness. I don't know where that large voice is coming from and that tiny little human. I do not understand where you are creating that sound. You are not allowed to sing that good yet. I don't know what to do with you. Truly, Roxy, it's beautiful. The sound is beautiful. This song is a great song for you. And I am not always a big fan of the song, actually, because I sometimes find it really boring. This was not boring at all. It's so beautiful. You have so much ownership of it. My primary note is come closer, my darling. I just want to see more of you. And by more of you, I mean this much of you. This is actually all of you I want to see. Because I can't see your face and I don't get to engage nearly as much with the acting and the character work when you are thus far away. So that's my only note is please come closer to me next time so that I might see more of what's going on.
Kyle.
Fabulous, fabulous. Wow, that voice. I think you're ready for this next thing because you're so advanced. Riffing. I love to riff. Now, here's the thing though. I think that you are ready to add subtext to your riffing, right? So there's color. What if that riff that you did at the end, as opposed to just being an extra option that's fabulous, what if that was the sound of how incredible it's going to be for you to be at Disneyland? Same notes, but it will change the way you sing it and it will hit us and we get to have a theatrical experience with you.
I love that. Leslie.
Stunning. I don't understand how you have this mixed belt. When I was in high school, like full on trucks would go through my break. My biggest thing was going to what KTP said because and I'm going to say it a bunch in this competition. It's my pet peeve. And I know that it is very in fashion these days. It's this like, when you went Disneyland, why are people doing or any movement to a riff, what KTP was saying, that riff needs to be something. So you had me up until I got to this, because people don't speak like this. They look crazy, and they will look crazy if you're doing it. Even if people are going, yes, shoe throw. I don't want to see that in a full musical. That is not what that's about. So pet peeve, stay in your riffs, like KTP was saying, but come on, that voice, I can't. Gorge.
It's the voice you want to spread on toast, I think.
Really?
Yummy. Next up, Ashley Fucarino, who is singing You Learn to Live Without from If Then.
You learn to stand alone at last, so brave and bold and strong and stout. You learn somehow to like the dark and even love the doubt. You learn to hold your life inside you and never let it out. You learn to live and die and then to live. You learn to live without. To live without. You learn to live without.
Ashley, the tone of your voice is so beautiful. I can't wait to hear you do a real alto, like rich, low. Oh, I can't wait. I loved this. I thought it was brilliant. I have nothing for you. I loved it. Gorge.
Kate, did you love it? Gorge?
I loved it. It's beautiful. You sound beautiful. This is one of those songs where you're like, what does this mean to you? This is a hard song to sing when you are a young woman with a lot of life left. This is about a woman who has lived a lot of life. I imagine that you have not. I don't know you. I can be wrong. But it's tricky, right? Because there's a lot of weight. There's not a lot happening lyrically here necessarily, because what is sort of supporting this song is the weight of the life that she has lived, the loss that she has experienced, and the literal learning that she has been through. That's a tricky thing to carry over when you are still on the upswing of life. So I just say, like, if you're going to own a song that is traditionally been performed by a woman of multiple different generations than you, find what it means to you, right? Because you can't carry that weight. You literally cannot present this song in the way that it is done in the show. Because you just don't have that kind of, I call it life gravity. You don't have the life gravity holding you down that you will someday. Welcome. Welcome. First it comes to the cheeks. So make the song your own, right? Don't worry about what it was done. It doesn't have to be maudlin. It doesn't have to be depressing. It doesn't have to be any of those things. It can just be, I have learned that I'm going to move on with my life without this thing that I had and I loved, and I'm going to live without it. It doesn't have to be weighted, right? That weight comes with time and it comes with experience. Please don't feel like you have to replicate that. You don't. The song will be just as beautiful and just as emotional and probably more meaningful because we will get to see your experience rather than 50-year-old lady experience. You know, it's just different. So I'm closer to that one than yours. So I shouldn't be dissing it, but just saying, don't feel like you have to replicate that life gravity. You don't. Let it be what it is to you, and that is what we want to see.
The life gravity is coming for all of us.
Coming for you, kid.
Can't avoid it. KTP.
Loved.
When did it get to you?
I loved it. Really great job. One little thought for you that you can carry over in every song you sing. No repetition without variation. At the end, you say the thing over and over. You say it 3 different times. So 3 different ways. There's an opportunity there.
I love that. You are dropping hot nuggets.
Great nuggets, yes.
Yeah.
He's also so concise. Leslie and I talk for like 35 minutes and say something that's really just 4 words. KT,
I just have a breakdown with every person. I'm like, why am I still doing this? Yeah.
I'm just taking it all personally.
I was like, the tone of these kids.
They're so good. Yeah.
Well, you know who else is good? Cooper, our BC is good in our top 15, singing Need to Know from Weird Romance.
I'm 10 years old, I'm at the local duplex. The science fiction matinee at 2. I don't recall the movie, but the aliens were groovy, and I wondered how they made the actors blue. So, when I get home, I fill the tub with fizzies. 30, 40 fizzies, purple grape. I soak for 7 hours, I get these funny streaks. They won't come off in showers, people laughed at me for weeks. But I knew, thought I knew, and at 10 that was a mighty heady brew. On my skin, in my hair, and I fell in love with research then and there. And I thought, check it out! I looked into what my life is all about, and thus it didn't matter when they chuckled at my hue. I was 10, I was blue, but I knew.
All right. I gotta say, I love a deep cut. I love an out of left field song choice that we don't hear all the time, especially from a very young singer. What are your thoughts?
And a
Katie?
character-driven one. Like, it's a character-driven song.
Yeah. Love,
Yeah.
loved. You're so great. You have such a great sense of self, great ease. I mean, to deliver that, you were doing a lot of things. What we were talking about before, planning what the number is going to be, that was all there and clear. I think one little thought for you. Oh, now that you have it all planned, let the thoughts come to you. You're good. At one point you say, and I thought. Can you give yourself space to actually think? Some of the acting in songs like this happens in the spaces between, not on the line. Explore that a bit.
Love it. Leslie.
Yeah, I love. Again, what a great voice. And to make like a big swing like this, I love. Mine was just a little more, like KTP was saying, a little more specificity with, you were saying you filled the tub with fizzies and you loved how you looked. But then when kids were making fun of you, I think make those choices like when the kids are making fun of you, it didn't matter because you knew that this is what you wanted to be. You knew you wanted to be a researcher. Those are the parts that we're missing, and only because you have so much groundwork that we can give you these notes to be like, okay, let's try something else. I think it was just like finding a more cohesive story because you had a kind of a wide range, and it's tough with these story songs. And when it's a small cut, you have to like be very concise. So that was it. I would just say more specificity, but I loved it. That was great.
Kate.
I think you're precious. You're absolutely precious. I just want to like grab you. This was lovely. I don't know anything about anything you're singing. I don't know the song. I don't know the show. I had so much fun watching you do this piece. And I agree with Ben. Like, kudos for like the deep cut choice of like a weirdo like character song from the, I don't know, 60s. I'm guessing 70s. Anybody? Nobody?
I think it
I want
was
to say this is an 80s.
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 Yeah.
Great. Even better. The dark decade. I loved it. I feel like my only thought was like at the very end, I saw you sing. So it was like character, and my big note. And I watched it like glaze over of like the big note come out. And I just want to wonder, like, can the character that's been there the whole time also have a big thought, right? And the big thought is how we get to the big note, rather than being like, and now I sing my song, and we lose all that like great specificity that you have done so much obvious work on to get us to there. So don't worry about the big note. It's here. It's motivated. You know you can sing it. It's motivated by his joy and his excitement. Like, let that be what gets you to the big note, rather than stopping and being the singer and going, and now I sing my big note. But otherwise, I'm in. I'm sold.
And if I may, for an aha moment, whoa, what if we all thought of big notes as big thoughts? Your work instantly is going to get better. Like, that just made me better, Kate. Wow.
Yeah.
That's something.
I talk about that all the time. The alchemy of, if you're stressed out about the big note, as long as it's grounded, all of that technical sabotage you do to yourself goes away. It's wild. Well done. Next up in our top 15, we have Ava Simone. That's a great showbiz name. Singing When He Sees Me from Waitress.
Oh God, what if when he sees me, I like him and he knows it? What if he opens up a door and I can't close it? What happens then if when he holds me, my heart is set in motion? I'm not prepared for that, I'm scared of breaking open. But still I can't help from hoping to find someone to talk want to again.
Leslie, you're overcome.
Overcome. Overcome. She is adorable. Great song for you, Ava. I love your voice. I cannot wait to hear other lower, I don't know. There's so much there that I was like, I want to hear more. My only thing is stupid technical stuff. Like, figure out a way to have somebody else. It's very hard to start your music before they see it. The blinds, maybe find a wall. It's all technical stuff that you just don't want to get in the way of your performance, because your performance is fantastic. It was so great. My only thing was the last note. Again, what we were talking about, you kind of see you go into self-edit singer mode. And it's so hard. We all do it. It's just, but come on, I loved it. Loved.
Miss Rockwell.
I agree. I think it was beautiful. You're adorable. This is a great song for you. Really, really good choice. I love this song. I think this song is like so wonderful for so many reasons.
It's hard.
It's so hard. Oh my gosh. Musically, Sarah, come on now. My critique is actually, it's a little bit of a vocal thing, but it's not really a vocal thing. So don't get caught up in the fact that it's a voice thing. I would say release the belt, right? Release the pressure to belt. This is not a belting song. This is a character song where we're learning about a human being who's having a nervous breakdown about life, right? Like, I think sometimes because on these cast recordings, you're dealing with women who are, by the way, significantly older than you, and therefore their voices are significantly more mature than yours. We create a certain sound because that's what our muscles do, right? Your voice is still developing. Everybody that's listening to this right now who is in this high school competition, your voices are still developing. Also, ladies in college, you too, I'm sorry to tell you, it doesn't happen until your mid-30s. Release the belt. Let the note come out where it is comfortable, so you don't have to think about making the sound. Because thinking about making a belt sound is where we get into singer face, right? Where you're like, this is a little hard and I have to worry a little bit about making this sound the right way. Stop worrying about it sounding the right way. The only right way that it's going to sound is how it comes out when you sing it, because that's the right way. How your voice naturally makes sound is the way that we want to hear it. Period, full stop. Listen, if you want to talk to me about something from Les Mis, I can't even think of which one it is, and how you have to belt the end of I Dreamed a Dream, fine, we'll talk about it. But like, you don't have to belt this. Most contemporary musical theater, we just want to hear you sing it the way you sing it. You're just used to hearing it another way. So release that pressure, and then you don't have to go into singer face, because it won't matter what sound comes out, because it will just be about the character speaking and having a strong feeling. And that's all that we want to, that's all we want. That's all we want to hear about ever, ever, ever.
Kyle.
So good, so good. I have two tiny little things. I felt, and I've had this happen to me in life before too, I felt like you were having a hard time hearing the track, and also the timing of the track was throwing you off. My wonder is, did you have a Bluetooth speaker, and was the sound coming at you or behind you? Put the speaker behind you and you'll hear better, and you'll hear yourself better when you do that. Change my life. Yeah,
Again, writing this down.
That's one. And number two is, you can use this on any song. Leave no question unasked. You have so many questions. Really ask them. That means you have to invest on who you're asking the question to. Is it God? Is it your best friend? Is it yourself? But once you've organized that, you just have to ask the question.
I mean, listen, I already went to AMDA in the 90s, but I want to apply again just to take it after. Jeez.
I have fun.
No problem.
Just give me your syllabus.
It's just so clear. It's like such clear, concise feedback. We don't need to talk. Just let Kyle do it on his own.
Give us the syllabus. We have one more high school superstar in our top 15, and that high school superstar is Jeffrey Walker III, who is singing Make Them Hear You from Ragtime.
Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon, or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my brothers, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be near you.
Jeffrey Walker III. Oh my God, I love that song. I'm a big fan of Bombast. KTP, talk to me.
Yes. Glorious, glorious sound. I have a challenge for you next week. I think your arms, the instinct of the arm is correct. Now, what happens if you internalize it and then let the voice do what the voice is going to do? In short, I don't think you need those arms. Also, I think you have a few words here that would really turn up the volume on your work. If you invest in them, invest in brothers, invest in then, I think those words are going to elevate your work. Who is them? Who are your brothers? And what will happen then, right? And you can use that on any song you sing. There's just stuff that needs specificity.
I also want to congratulate all three of you on the use of specificity throughout our time together today, because you've all nailed it. It's a very tough word to say. Kate,
Don't do that now. We're not done. Now it's going to come out wrong. Wow. Okay, Jeffrey, the sound coming out of your body is so spectacular. Again, you're like, what is that going to sound like in 10 years when the instrument finally matures? What are you going to be able to do? I'm 1,000% on the boat with Kyle. I think that my rule is you only earn one burst. You can have one burst. You cannot have more than one. Any more than one is too many bursts for musical theater. We can't handle bursts that many times. So I would say, like, I will allow you the one. Kyle says you get none. I say I'll give you one. Pick your one. And the rest of them, yes, you retain that energy, internalize that energy, and have it come out this way rather than coming out through your arms. Because again, that's just all of that beautiful acting energy that's escaping sideways. Your audience, most of the time, is in front of you, especially in a self-tape, it is in front of you. So give us that rather than allowing it out. And then enjoy the last one if you want it, because it's Broadway. I think this was stunning on you. I love everything about what you did. Keep it up.
Leslie, Margarita.
Stunning. Loved it. That voice, the tone. Loved. I loved the story you were telling. I got it. And I think what KTP was saying, again, the specificity. Find those lyrics. I felt like some of the high notes you could have used a little more support, and I don't know if it's support is the right word. Kate can help me out. It's more like getting the breath, kind of what we were saying before, like getting the breath earlier to maybe get you to, I felt like maybe you just ran out of a little air and a note that maybe you was a little was easy because you did it later on. You know what I mean? Like, I think just review like where we take our breaths. And then just a dumb thing, and this is for everybody, because I always have this problem when my screen behind me,
I hate it.
The way that you set your camera up and you can see the edges of your screen, that is fine, but then go into it after and crop it in like iMovie. Because I know a lot of my setups, you don't always have the luxury of space and your screen will show. So then just go in and crop it later. You guys, again, this is the least of your problems, but it sadly is the world that we're living in. And your generation will be much more equipped than we were. But it's just dumb stuff like that, where if you have to send a tape, just crop it later. But I loved it. Loved. Oh, these voices. I can't.
All of that is so good because it really is. It's never going to change. All of this stuff we need to know about how to set up a successful self-tape.
And remember, I know that we don't have time for me to wax poetic, but remember how when we used to do this and we were like, don't worry, this is just for now. It's going to go away. It's not. We're doing Broadway auditions on self-tapes now, guys. So get into it, get comfortable with it, and do the technical stuff because it does matter.
I literally just had to crop one of mine because I saw the sides and I was like, oh, yeah.
And that can involve Googling how to do things, and that's exhausting.
But all these people have so much youthful energy, so they've got it.
They've got it. All right. We want to say a huge congratulations to our amazing top 15. But guess what? We're not done yet. When we come back, our judges are going to take a look at our awesome almosts, and they're going to give one contestant a chance to move on through to next week. All right, judges, it's time to meet our awesome almost. These are contestants that came so close to making the top 15, but you judges are going to save one of them to move forward in the competition. Now, please note, as we view these, we will not be offering in-between performance feedback. We're just going to watch them, and we'll move on from there. First up, for your consideration, hoping to make it through, we have Landon Busby, who is singing Good Kid from The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson musical.
The same old story, the same old song. Don't act up, don't act out, be strong. I keep my head down, I keep my chin up, but it ends up all the same. With pack your bags, Percy, you're always to blame. I never try to do anything, I never mean to hurt anyone. I try to be a good kid, a good son. But no one ever will take my side. All I ever do is take the fall. I swear that I'm a good kid. Guess I'm good for nothing at all.
Next up, Nicholas Ammon, who is singing Anthem from Chess. Thank you.
How could I leave her? Where would I start? Let men's petty nations tear themselves apart. My land's only borders lie around my home.
Nicholas Ammon giving us a little more of that delicious decrescendo that we love so much. And finally, our last awesome almost, Hudson Kuntz, who is singing She Loves Me from She Loves Me.
Will wonders ever cease? Didn't like her. Couldn't like her. Couldn't stand her. Couldn't stand her. I wouldn't have her. I never knew her. But now I do. And I could. And I would. And I know. She loves me. And to my amazement, I love it, knowing that she loves me. She loves me, she doesn't show it. How could she, when she doesn't know it? Yesterday she loved me, now today she likes me. And tomorrow, I deep ache from the urge to touch her. I'm speechless, for I mustn't tell her. It's wrong now, but it won't be long now before my love discovers that she and I are lovers. Imagine how surprised she's bound to be. She loves me. She loves me.
Hudson Kuntz slaying it for a live studio audience right there. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised when I tell you that that's come out of my mouth, that song, in an audition room before. No surprises there. Now, judges, you have some serious work to do. When we come back, my friends, our judges will be moving one of our awesome almosts forward into the competition. So bite your nails and stay tuned. All right, judges and viewers, this is the moment of truth. There's been some serious deliberating happening since last we saw each other here on the interwebs. And only one of our awesome almost gets to go through in the competition. And after much debate, Kate Rockwell
I want to congratulate all 3 of these gentlemen for their tapes. It's all spectacular work. I do hate the fact that this is a competition setting and that we can't just say yay to everybody. But in our deliberation, we have determined that we will be keeping for the next week Hudson. Hudson, your tape is we can see so much personality in this. You're clearly a very engaged performer. There's so much acting happening. I'm going to say like your comedy is lovely, excellent. Here's Mama Kate. Hang on though, because you sort of cheated in that you had an audience for this tape. I heard some giggles, and we want to make sure that as you go forward, Hudson, we want a true self-tape. I still think this is where my camera is. I hope I'm right. Otherwise, I'm just dead-eyeing nothing. But I
we feel threatened.
Self-tape from you, right? So like a real audition, no audience. We want like with the camera and the stuff performing just like everything else with the crop, no stage, just a backdrop. So let's make sure that we're on equal footing here because that's what you have to send in for an audition. You cannot send in a performance tape. You can't send in something, no matter how good it is. They will not accept it. So we're going to hold you to that standard, and we're going to give you the opportunity to send us in a self-tape structured audition for the next one. But good, nice work. Nice work to all of you. That's all.
Awesome. And a huge congratulations to all of our top 15 and now top 16 and to everyone who submitted a tape. There was so much talent that we weren't able to put on our screens today. So to all of you who did submit, keep submitting, keep practicing your craft. I think we all agree that the future of musical theater is in some very freakishly capable hands. That's for darn sure. So congratulations once again to our top 15/16. We'll be back next week, Friday, December 8th at 7 p.m. to announce who's making it to the top 10. What? So be sure to follow Broadway World on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to see when next round's voting opens to the public on Monday. I'm your Broadway buddy, Ben Cameron, and go out there and have a great show. Thanks, judges. We love you. We can't wait to see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.